Okay guys, welcome back. So what we're going to look at today is a new feature of ZBrush 2021.5.1, and that is the thick skin ability. Now thick skin, what is thick skin? Thick skin is basically setting a limit on the amount of push out or push in on a model, and it's a lot of people that are doing clay sculptures will heat their model up using a hairdryer or a heater gun, and what will happen is it will create a kind of slidey skin surface on the top that allows you to kind of slide the clay around, you know, deform the clay a bit and push it up, push it down, and the more heat you apply, the deeper that will go, and the more you can kind of push it up and down. It makes it and then it will go off very quickly and it will hold that shape. So inside of ZBrush, as we always like to do in ZBrush, is they have added this as a feature because it is a kind of sculpting technique. So under the palettes on the right hand side, you're now going to see a layer called thick skin that is not active by default. If I turn thick skin on, you're going to see I've got a thick skin radius of 20. Now what's going to happen if I select a brush? I'm going to select something like the clay brush, and let's go and choose something like clay build up. We're going to be able to kind of sculpt in. Now what is beautiful about this little brush is we can kind of erase and push bits back. So you can see I'm adding this kind of detail on the top here, but it's going to go with the model. So as I pull across, it's going to kind of follow the curve of the model because it's kind of just on the surface. So it allows you to quickly really not change the fundamental shape, but add this kind of layering on top. Now what is great about it is I can use the Alt and I can push in as well, you know. Let's see, I can cut in. Now what is also good is over here, if I've got this activated still, I can put this onto 0 or 0.0001, and then I could come over this like this, and what you're going to see is it will erase what we just did, getting me back to what I was when I started, like that, this, because I've set that skin at 0. Now this works with lots of the brushes, so if I put this on 11, you can see I can kind of do this, I can go over it, you know, so it could be really good for adding like extra skin in areas. And I'm going over the top of it, and based on that skin, which is giving me a 9, I can pull out to a certain point. Watch me pulling out. I'm going over the same area now. I can't put any more. I'm putting more clay in there, but no clay is being added. Yeah? Now I can use Alt and I can push this back in, but I can't push it anymore. I can only push it in as far as I pushed it out. You see that? So it's very cool. It gives you that layer, so the skin's there and you've set a thickness that you can only push in that far in and that far out, and that's all you can do. Classic one would be to show you the move brush on this. So if I use BM on the keyboard and I just grab move and I was to use the move brush, press Alt and pull this out, that's as far out as I can go because of that thick skin. So it's not altering the shape. You can see it hits that line and it stops. You see that? And like I said before, if I was to go back, let's use the standard brush, BS on the keyboard. Let's grab the standard brush, which is around here somewhere. Where are you, standard brush? Lost him. It's a standard brush, BST. I use shortcuts. Here we go. So I can pull this out. Look, I'm putting on here and it's hitting that line. Do you notice it's hitting that line? If I turn this thickness up, let's turn it up even more. Notice the preview that I've got on the left hand side. As soon as I release it, it'll go in. So this is giving me more now. So I can go out, but I can only go to a certain point and then it hits that wall, it hits that line where the thick skin's finished. Now as I said before, if I was to go back and take this to 0 literally, and then I was to then start to draw over this, I can delete out all that stuff I just did. So it's almost like storing a morph target. You can play around with it as much as you like, and you can set that back in there. Now be aware that if you go and set this and then you draw something on here like this, okay, let's just do a bit, let's turn this up a lot. Let's turn this up like this. If I was to do this and then I was to turn thick skin off, and then I was to turn it on and set that onto 0, if I go over it, it's not going to work. Okay, so you need to make sure you're in thick skin mode before you finish. Now you could have thick skin mode and activate a layer, so you'd always have access to dial it down or up, but it's just something to bear in mind. So that is thick skin. I think it's very cool. There's a plethora of different uses you could use this for, and it allows you to change models, but not dramatically. You can just put layers over the top, only come out to a certain point, and it will basically go over all the geometry. It won't fill things in. So it's very powerful. I can think of quite a lot of uses for this, especially in the kind of works that I'm doing on the anatomy 3D printing course and the jewelry course. So thick skin, a very good feature that ZBrush 2021.5.1 has brought out.